Congresswoman Garcia, thank you for speaking with me today. How important was it for you to have Sunny and her family be a part of these proceedings tonight?
Well, when we look at our future, when we look ahead, we certainly do think of our children. And when we look at someone who has stood up and been a voice for the voiceless, someone who has stood up to remind all of us, especially in Texas, that we are all God's children and that we all deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. When we think of someone who has made a difference and it continues to make a difference and an inspiration to so many others in the Houston area in Texas, well, I couldn't think of a better person than Sunny. And if you look at what she's been able to do, I mean, she may not be able to get a driver's license yet. She may not be able to do a lot of the things that grownups do, but she just got a shout out on the floor of the House of Representatives. She has been a leader in her own right in terms of speaking up for trans children, not only in Houston but across America.
When you hear her story and when you hear stories like her, what goes through your mind and their continued fight for what they're pushing for and their rights?
Well, look, it's really very simple. We've been through this fight before. You recall the bathroom bill. I was there in the Texas Senate at that time. For some reason, Governor Abbott and his allies, including the Attorney General, have been made trans children a target. They're using them as political chips to rile up their base. I don't think that it's any coincidence that this, bogus Attorney General opinion comes out, the week before a primary, and that our governor immediately seizes on it and issues orders to start investigating parents who assist or work with their children on their gender identity issues. I mean, it completely baffles me. In fact, it makes me very angry that our state leaders would use children in the way they are as political chips, especially when we know that what they're saying and doing totally goes against all the medical experts. And in fact, children at the age of Sunny are not put through surgeries and all these procedures that is being talked about. And it's not something people do overnight. So I think it's just insane that they're doing this.
That was you kind of answered my next question a little bit when you saw the order come down from the governor's office and everything that preceded that. What was that reaction? Because it immediately drew uproar, not only from folks in Texas but across the country. You saw athletes, everybody kind of supporting children that are transgender.
Look, parents know what's best for their children. They don't need Greg Abbott and King Paxton acting as super doctors trying to tell parents what to do in this instance. And, the very idea that they're going to try to spend tax dollars on investigating something that doesn't even exist. I mean, it's kind of all made up. And I don't see this as a valid Attorney General opinion. It really is just a political stunt to drive voters to the polls because they know it works. They've done it before, and it's about hate. It's about targeting children, and it is about disrespecting the whole notion that we're all God's children. For me, that's a deeply held religious belief. I mean, I truly believe that we are all God's children, and certainly trans children need to be treated as the children of God that they are.
Since we are speaking of the State of the Union tonight, I do have to ask you, what would you like to hear from President Biden tonight? There's a lot happening in the world right here at home. Poll numbers are coming out, not favorable to the president, but what would you like to hear? Is this kind of like a moment to hit the reset button, or how do you see this speech from him tonight?
Well, I think I'm very optimistic about the future of our country. So I would like to hear his vision of how we're moving forward. I think if you just look a year back and look at the unemployment rate going down, that our economy has been stimulated. We've had tremendous job growth. We have tremendous economic growth. I just want to make sure that we can keep it steady and that we can see inflation come down. And I hope to hear that. But I know that he's going to have to spend some time on Ukraine in the fight that we're in to help our allies and to help Ukraine and the people of Ukraine to get through this crisis. I'm a peace person. I don't like seeing this invasion. I'm hopeful that we can do everything we can to bring it to a halt as soon as possible and bring peace back to Ukraine, because there's more than just Ukraine at stake. It's about the entire notion of a democracy in democratic nations. We cannot allow one big bully, Russia, decide that no, they want this, they want that, and come in and try to defeat a democracy in a sovereign state. So we will be hearing about that too. So I think it's going to be a historic moment for us. This is technically his first State of the Union. It'll be the first time that we have the Vice President, the Speaker of the House, both women sitting right behind him. So there's going to be a lot to take note of, but it's also a sad moment that we do have to deal with the issues in Ukraine.
And finally, are you excited to have, be able to have and be in attendance for a speech like this? This is, some of the regulations and all that have kind of come down. We're, I don't know, returning to normal is kind of an overused phrase, I feel like, but maybe this is another sign of the next step in that direction, right?
Well, and I'm glad you said that, because you're absolutely right. We would, but for all that we've done to do the testing and the vaccinations, to stimulate the economy, put money in people's pockets, put our schools, open up our schools, get people back to work, this would not happen. And I remind people of that you got those couple of stimulus checks. Businesses got the PPP loans, restaurants got some help, airlines got help. We all did. A lot has happened in the very, very positive way for our country. We're building back better, and we can continue to do that. So I am very optimistic, and I know that the president will focus on how we'll build better for America.